Hello, StockTwits Nation. We're back here at the Gateway Group Conference here in San Francisco. I'm here with Tim Bridgewater, Chairman and CEO of Zeo Energy. Welcome to the show. Thank you for stopping by. I know you've had dozens of meetings here on the ground, so we really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Katie. Happy to be here and look forward to talking to your listeners and sharing our story with them.
Yeah, we look forward to learning about you. I know you've been telling the story of Zeo probably many times so far, but for our audience who might not know you all or understand the space you're in, quickly explain what you're building, who your customers are, and what the company's all about.
Okay, first, this is my natural voice. It's not that I've been talking too much. It's a little raspy, but I think that the story of Zeo Energy is an interesting story in the renewable energy space. We started in 2019 as a sales dealership, basically sending teams out to sell mostly in Florida to consumers' residences where they can put panels and batteries in their home and compete with the power companies that were charging them their monthly power bill. So we were saving customers money. The company grew quite quickly. In 2021, we purchased an installation group, so we became an EPC and fully integrated, where we were expanding into now 4 additional states. And in 2024, we were approached by a private equity group, Energy Spectrum, out of Dallas, that wanted us to go with them and merge into a public company, which we did in March of 2024. That company is traded on the Nasdaq under ZEO, our ticker symbol. Zeo means zeal, zest for life.
Yeah.
And we basically are primarily a summer sales team where we'll send out 300 to 400 sales reps who knock on doors and give presentations. And then they will close on a transaction. About half of the presentations they give, a customer will purchase the solar system for their home. And then we install it and maintain it, and in some cases help to finance it for the customer. So we're a full service shop. We sell, we install, and we service and maintain. And in some cases, we provide financing for the customer.
Interesting. Okay, so the go-to-market strategy is sort of old school in that sense, where you have people having conversations. Is the decision to get solar panels is often not something that's necessarily top of mind for somebody, but when they hear the story, when they hear the value, that's why that conversion rate, as you mentioned, is so high, the 50%.
Yeah, I think it's across the kitchen table with the homeowner, and they're already paying the monthly amount to the power company. So it's a question of, do I want to switch and use green power and be less reliant on the grid? And if so, can I do that at the same cost or at a cheaper cost? And that's what the sales process does. It educates them about tax credits and about financing options, and then gives them the opportunity to say, I want to do this. One of the great things about the installations that we've had over the history of our company, we've acquired a couple of companies during our time frame as a public company. So we have over 50,000 installs across the United States. And almost to a T, those customers are saving money at a time now when prices are going through the roof. AI data centers are driving increasing power costs, utility costs, and utilities have to cover their capital expenditures. And so they're raising prices already. So if you can fix into a power cost, either a flat cost or a escalating cost that starts low and goes up 3% a year, you're better off long-term because you're going to be saving money versus the power company. And the power companies can't help but continue to raise prices, especially in the AI data center world, which is dominating the power grid right now and taking most of the power off to fuel mining operations or data center operations.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into the data centers, but when you were talking, I couldn't help but think that these utility companies must love you guys. They must just love seeing you go around the neighborhoods. I mean, are they doing anything collectively to try to hold on to their customers, or do you see them trying to encroach on what you do in any sense and shift that way?
Now, utility companies can't move very quickly, but they see an erosion of the customers. The customers are dissatisfied with the service or worried about the grid going down. In the case of California and Texas in particular, there's been some challenges like that. But I think what we do better than most companies is we provide a value proposition to the customer so that they know they can receive good quality power that is generated on their rooftop. If they want a battery, they can store it. The utilities have typically been willing to give one-to-one credits to the customers. If they overproduce in the day, then they can use that same credit for their power at night. But utilities are responding by changing net metering and changing pricing, time of day pricing and things like that to try and make more money off of the customer and also to thwart the customers leaving and going to effectively own their own power or leasing a system that they can put on their house so they can control their own power at where they use it most.
Okay, I want to stay on residential for 1 second because I'm curious. Like, we all know somebody who knows somebody, maybe our parents, neighbors who have solar, but how early is sort of the adoption of solar panels?
Great question. I think one thing that we're excited about is the future for growth. There's been a lot of shakeout because of high interest rates. A lot of solar companies have gone bankrupt, public companies like Sonova and SunPower. But, if you're in business today, you've survived through the worst part of the time frame. But the country is growing pretty rapidly. Demand for power is going to continue to grow. And the U.S. has a very small penetration of rooftop solar on homes. Only about 5% of the homes in America have rooftop solar. And in other countries in Europe and Australia, it's like 38%.
Wow.
Hawaii is close to that same number. California uniquely is probably the leader with 20% of the homes that have it here. And they mandate that you have to put solar on a new home that's built. So the rest of the country, I think, is ready to grow more. If you just doubled from 5 million homes to 10 million homes, we're a part of that growth. So there's lots of growth now, and there are fewer competitors in the marketplace. And as interest rates start to come down, you'll see our growth continue to go up in the new markets that we're expanding. We're going into states right now where power prices are quite high, and customers can get savings immediately by putting solar on the rooftop.
Okay, interesting. So that's the residential side of the business. And I know you made an acquisition to expand capabilities on the commercial side.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that acquisition and how that side of the business might work a little differently or serve a different purpose.
Oh, Katie, I don't know if you've heard about AI.
No.
Data centers. It's sucking up all the oxygen of power in the country and really in the world. I mean, there's $240 billion of projects under construction right now to build the next generation of data centers. And what we do through this acquisition, we made an acquisition of a company in Houston called HelioGen. And HelioGen has historically been a concentrated solar company with storage. And we've left the concentrated solar out, but we acquired them in part because they had cash and that helped bolster our balance sheet to be a stronger company. But secondarily, they have a great storage technology for large scale, long duration storage. So typically, if you get a lithium battery on a commercial project, they'll give you 4 hours of storage. And it's generally cost effective for you to store the power and then use it for 4 hours. What we're talking about is 9 hours. So if we can build battery storage systems for commercial projects behind the meter for 9 hours. And HelioGen, the team, brings a unique ability to deploy this for data centers, for manufacturing facilities that have a lot of waste heat, and for remote mining projects. So our opportunity to build energy storage, batteries basically on a large scale, is unlimited with what's happening right now, in particular in the data center space. So they need power. They can't get it from the utilities typically in most cases. So the grid can't deliver the power, but we can do 24/7 energy storage and power delivery using solar as well as energy power storage through these systems. They use molten salt to store the energy or compressed CO2. And those are the two offerings that we have now to the market. And so we'll be rolling out projects in the coming months that are tapped into the AI data center industry. And the growth there is really unlimited. What you see right now is huge demand, probably 8 times the demand for what the supply can give right now to the grid and to the data center developers, hyperscalers, big data center companies that are out developing 1 and 2 gigawatt projects. And, the U.S. is behind. I mean, we need to catch up with our infrastructure, our energy grid, and that opens an opportunity for us to deliver power behind the meter, just like we do for the home, for the consumer. We're providing power at the site so that they can have it 24/7 without the need to go to the grid for the power.
I mean, it's fascinating you said that, because a lot of the conversations around AI data centers, the next energy source that's mentioned, it seems to always be nuclear. And solar doesn't come up as much in those conversations. Tell us a little bit about solar. There might be some misconceptions about its ability to deliver enough power for these data centers. So when you're having these conversations and people are like, wait, I thought nuclear was the solve there. How do you sort of position Zeo in also able to solve that challenge?
Thanks for that question. I think that really pinpoints where the industry is and the market is right now. So if you think about the challenges for solar, wind is a little different, and the Trump administration has really gone against wind more so than solar. They've limited the tax credits, but they're still available to develop, and they've also they see the need for storage, in particular, large scale batteries and industrial storage. So I think the value proposition for solar itself is still very strong. Solar is probably the lowest cost of power generated, but it only is available for 6 or 7 hours a day, depending on where you are. So the complaint is it's intermittent. It's not base load. And base load is what we need, especially for data centers. And nuclear power gives base load at a really high performance rate, but it's very, very expensive. And if you think about large scale nuclear power plants, we haven't been able to really build one that hasn't either exploded in terms of cost 4 or 5 times what they thought it would be, or in the SMRs, small modular reactor space, the promise has been 5 years out for the last 10 years. Yep. And so it continues to be 5 years out. Now there's a lot of activity, and I'm a all of the above energy solution. So nuclear is definitely part of the mix, but it's hard to depend on that's going to be happening in 3, 5, 7 years. And they don't really know the cost. Right now, I know what my cost is on solar for a utility scale is 3 cents per kilowatt hour. For the homeowner, it's probably 10 to 12 cents, depending on where you're at and what the piece is for the small scale residential system. But for nuclear power, is it 20 cents a kilowatt hour? Is it 10 cents? They don't know. They just know that SMRs are going to be available and the technology is there to deliver the power. So solar has the unique opportunity. It's 30 years. You install a big solar farm and it's going to be there. It's going to degrade a little bit, but you'll have 80% of that power 30 years from now. And that's the unique aspect. And it's low maintenance. I was in the geothermal space in the early part of my career. And, it's a lot of investment capital, a lot of risk capital, and maintenance and operations is ongoing. You have to re-drill the wells. You have to do a lot of different things like that. Whereas solar, you put it in, you set it there, and the maintenance is really quite low, and you know what you've got. And so it's the lowest cost of power, but it's intermittent. So how do you turn intermittent into base load? That's what storage does. Right. Storage allows you, if you're a homeowner, do you have solar on your house, Katie?
I have an apartment in New York. So.
Okay. Would you like to have solar on your house someday?
I would like to. Yeah.
Whenever you're ready to buy the house.
The person 2 floors above me can put it on, and then it can maybe trickle down. Someday.
Someday. But if you have just solar, it gives you the power during the day. But if you have a battery, you can then have base load power for your home with the battery, depending on how big the battery is and how much power you use and how big your solar system is. So in the case of the commercial projects, that base load power is what they need. And the grid has to fluctuate. So the challenge they have a lot of intermittent power when they don't need it, and then they need it at night and they don't have it. They need storage as well. The utility needs storage. So the commercial customer, industrial customer, or utility all need to solve this storage issue so they can have the power when they need it. A nuclear power plant produces at a high level constantly, but the grid doesn't need it constantly. So it needs the storage component. Okay. So that's the niche we're playing in, is really providing a storage solution for commercial projects, industrial projects, and to some extent, utilities can get that technology and utilize it as well to balance the load of the power as it's being utilized by the end users, which is us in our homes or businesses or wherever the power needs to be.
Okay. And so the way to think about Zeo is almost the full system, not just when you're driving down the road, you see panel. It's the full system of the battery or the storage, the panels themselves. Is that how to think about it? You guys do like the end to end?
Yeah, we're a solution, a renewable energy solution.
Okay.
And from the residential side, we're providing a cost-effective solution for the consumer to get green energy, to get a lower cost monthly versus their power bill, and to have a predictable price, which the utility won't give that to you because they want sometimes to raise the price 20% or 30%. And we know now today, because of the AI data center boom, that power prices are going to go up. There's just not enough power to satisfy the demand. And so you're going to see customers going up. So all of our customers in, what is now probably 50,000 installs across the country are saving money long term because prices are going up faster than we thought they would when we first sold the system to them. And then the value proposition from the storage side is just that reliability, the resilience, the dependability. You've got it when you need it, not paying a premium for just having access to the power, but getting it when you need it and paying for it as you need it. And that's the beauty of the storage, is really, I think, solving this intermittency that solar or wind or other renewable sources can't deliver to the grid. We can deliver it by taking it, putting it into a battery, and then delivering either a constant flow or the power when the customer, the plant needs it at the time it needs it. And in the case of data center partners, they need it constantly.
Right.
In the case of a manufacturing plant, they need it when the workers are there. They don't need it when they're not, but they need it after the sun goes down. And so we're allowing that storage to fill that gap, just like you would on your home, which you're going to buy eventually once you move out of the apartment.
Thank you for believing in me. So let's talk about steering the ship with this business, because there's a lot of factors at play. You have policy stuff. You have this insatiable demand for energy. That is a great problem to have, but probably very hard to quantify. And it's probably pretty expensive to sort of build what you're selling. So how do you think about planning to run the business in a way that is going to meet the demand, but also not maybe overshoot? Like, how do you think about that from like a financial modeling standpoint?
Great question. Our company, when we went public, we didn't need to raise capital. We were cash flow positive. We continue to be cash flow positive from an EBITDA perspective. The growth is organic for us. We just need to recruit more salespeople. We need to provide financing so that they can provide to the customer a reasonable monthly payment structure, and that will continue to grow. And we're already getting additional people coming on our platform because we're public, we're transparent, and people know that they can trust us. And the customer says, "Oh, there's a company, they're public. I feel more comfortable installing with them versus somebody that is, private company they don't really know that much about." So that's a benefit to us going forward. And the market has come through a really tumultuous time over the last 2 years. And we see now, if you're poised and positioned like we are today, the growth is going to return to the 30, 40, 50% CAGR, combined annual growth rate, that we've seen in the past for residential solar, in part because the base is so small and the demand is so high. And I think the technology is getting better. The panels are getting more efficient. The inverters are getting better. And so you're going to be more and more competitive versus buying utility or power from the grid by putting a system on your home. It's not for everybody. It's not for apartment dwellers, for example, but you can access community solar for apartment multifamily units. In a lot of places, municipalities or communities are putting a solar array, and we build those as well, that you can put near your consumers, and then they can pull it off the grid in a community solar structure. So we see microgrids, which is what we're really focusing on, is delivering power for the consumers. And more people, I just think, even though there's some opposition to solar and renewable energy, the demand is growing. It's part of the mix. It's the fastest growing component of the new energy that's coming on the grid right now, above any. And nuclear will get there maybe someday. And it's going to be a part of the mix as well. And I hope that SMRs in the next 5 years can actually bring quality power online because we need it as a country. We need to be more competitive. And I think we're on the right track right now. But part of what we bring is a solution now, not 5 years from now.
Okay. And then, so the acquisition you made in HelioGen that was kind of expanding to cover the commercial side. How are you thinking about M&A right now? Was that you had a plan, you wanted to go into that space, you found a target, or are you still potentially open to other M&A?
Yeah, we're acquisition minded as a company. That's part of how we'll fuel our growth. We basically with HelioGen, we paid $10 million of stock, got $14 million of cash, plus a diversification strategy. So that was really, accretive to our business. We bought some assets from a bankrupt solar company. So we brought, pipeline and got some benefits and a partnership with some of the investors that were in that previous company. So I think we're opportunistic. We see something that will help us grow our core business or is complementary to the home services that we're in. That could be a roofing business, which is very complementary. We're going to look at that acquisition and potentially do more acquisitions. We've in the little over a year that we've been in business, we've made 2 acquisitions. And so we will continue to fuel our growth through acquisitions, through organic growth, and through building the services around renewable energy and storage and solar in particular.
Okay, so looking ahead, we're almost in October. I can't believe the year's almost coming to an end. But as you have the team thinking focused ahead of 2026, what are the top 1 or 2 things you're telling the troops to sort of rally them towards this next chapter for the company?
I would say, interest rates coming down will fuel our growth a lot. We're looking for a lower interest here soon. 2 rate cuts from the Fed is what's predicted for this year. That will help fuel more growth for us in 2026. Then if you look at the data center boom, we just want a small piece of that. We're in a lot of different conversations right now about how we can bring our storage solution to solve their energy problems. And as we do more and more of those projects, I think that is a very exciting area that just has an insatiable demand. And we're a part of that growth strategy. So those 2 pieces, I think, will fuel a lot of our growth. And then expanding our sales force. We have a great sales force, people that have been dedicated working with us for years that just go out and they bang the doors and they make good money in the summer and they come back and, they either go back to school if they're in college or they'll go out and travel the world and then they'll recruit people for the next cycle. Yeah. And that continues to grow and build our business. And that's very exciting because you see the lives of these young people come in and, they make great money and they come in and they work hard for a period of 4 months. I mean, long days, hard work, and, they're providing a service to people. And I think in retrospect, what we sold 2 and 3 years ago, those people didn't realize how big their savings would be, and neither did we. Yeah. And I think that's going to continue just because of rising power costs. So we feel like we're solving a problem. We're providing a solution, both from an environmental perspective, from just a demand of all the above types of energies that can be out there. This is one great option for consumers, for companies, and for utilities to consider.
Well, lots of exciting things ahead for you. This has been Tim Bridgewater, Chairman and CEO of Zeo Energy Group. Thank you so much for stopping by with us today. We really appreciate your time.
Katie, thanks for giving us the time to tell our story. And we're very excited about the future. We think 2026 is going to be a great year for our industry and for our company in particular. We hope all the Stock Twits listeners will take a look at our stock, Zeo. It's a great time to buy. We bought HelioGen in this acquisition. A lot of those investors that took our stock wanted to get out because they'd been trapped in that stock in an OTC for a long time. So there was a little headwind on the stock. But right now, I think is a great time to buy. If you look at Sunrun or some of the other options in renewable energy versus Zeo, we have a greater likelihood of tripling our value in the next year than those companies do. We have a small base. We're a small company. We're dynamic. We're growth oriented. And we hope that Stock Twits will continue to follow us, and also that we'll have an opportunity to come back and talk with your listeners as we grow.
Come back anytime.
Thanks, Katie.